What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Bull Season 1, Episode 23, Benevolent Deception, the season finale, and my god, do I hate JP. Like, honestly, this episode would have been great. It would have been really a great episode. Good twist to it, good little interesting setup for the case itself. Not being able to see the jury is an entirely new thing that they brought in for this episode that we haven't seen all season long. The idea of how they managed to win the case, bringing to this woman saying, hey, look, your brother has been lying to you. He said he'd protect you, but look, he brought this upon you. He is the reason why there was heroin under your deck. Your son is even the one who called the police about it. I mean, the fact that her son was the one that called in the first place is a great twist. And then getting her to admit it, the little play acting they put on in the courtroom, all of it was just very well handled. It was a well-written case. They didn't do this whole, changing up the style for the finale. It was pretty much still following the courtroom. Learning that apparently there's precedent to having a unit or anonymous jury. That's pretty cool. You learn stuff about the courtroom in the show from time to time. So all of that was really well done. But JP is just so unlikable. She is so annoying, and they try to play it off like she and Bull have like this little, flirty little romantic thing going on. Like, what does he see in her? I don't get it. She's not even that good looking. She's attractive, sure, but come on. Personally, I think Marissa is actually better looking than she is. And while I understand they don't really have a connection there, or what about the lawyer that he was seeing, the one from his hometown? What happened to her? I don't understand why they have him going after her. It just doesn't make sense. She's annoying, she's obnoxious, she constantly puts him into cases that are ridiculous. They're on the plane ride over there, and he's just like, okay, so she didn't put the drugs there. Where did all this money come from? Who's funding this? And she won't answer, and he's like, look, I do not work for drug cartels. She's like, I'm not saying anything, I plead the fifth. Stupid, if drug cartels are funding this, maybe you shouldn't take the case. And I get that, in real life, defense lawyers do this all the time. Defense lawyers will take on cases of people that are obviously guilty because the money is there. They need the money to defend them. I get that. Okay, I get that not every lawyer has a heart of gold like Bull does. I understand. But don't drag Bull into it. He's not going to be okay with it. He's not going to agree with the fact that they're working for a drug cartel. And she just continues to do it. She continues to drag him into situations he does not want to be into, and at the end of it, this show just plays it off like, oh, isn't she charming? Don't they just have this nice little connection? And they don't. It's a frustrating thing to watch. So I really hope she doesn't return for season 2, because if she does, it just really drags the show down a whole lot. And honestly, she's probably been the worst part about this season in general. So anyway, let's talk about some of those scenes that did and didn't work out. First of all, one of the biggest scenes that, in my opinion, it should have been episode over after this scene. Bull is talking to the lady, something Novak, I can't remember her first name now, but he's talking to her and saying, look, the DA just gave you an out. All you have to do is just turn in your brother. And then she starts spouting this sob story about, we were over in another country, my parents were killed, and he helped me back across. I'm like, okay, great, that's great. He's very kind for doing that. But he's very clearly put you in some serious danger right now. You think there are only so many times you can forgive him for his drug stuff because of what he did for you back then. At some point you just have to say, okay, look, brother, this is for your own good. Sending you to jail is for your own good because you're so far gone with this whole drug cartel thing. But whatever, she tells her sob story. JP, after hearing that sob story, she's like, I'm going to take my client now. And then her client spouts all this stuff, then walks away. She walks up to Bull, slaps him across the face, and says, how dare you? I don't condone men hitting women. I do not condone it at all. I think, especially, husbands that are abusive to their wives, I think it's stupid. I think those people should be put in jail for a long time. I don't condone a man hitting a woman. However, in this case, I fully condone it. I say 100% Bull should have bitch smacked her across the face. Because, first of all, you do not hit Bull. Because all he said was, maybe we should take this deal. He was telling her, look, this is a good deal. They are going to take your brother away, yes, but you get away scot-clean. That's a pretty good deal considering drugs were on your house. I mean, yeah, I can see where he's coming from. And just because this woman, she has some sort of sob story about her brother, about how her brother helped her out, you're going to walk up to this guy and slap him across the face because of that? Because he said, hey, take a good deal? On top of that, they wouldn't even be a part of this case if you had not dragged him into it. You purposefully lied to him, saying that, not telling him that the money came from a drug cartel, not telling him that likely the brother is the one or the reason why the drugs ended up on her property. You didn't tell him all of this. You dragged him into this case blind. And you have the audacity to slap him across the face because he doesn't want to deal with this case. He should have slapped her back. I would have been completely okay with it. Sure, some of the more extreme feminists would have gotten on this show and been like, how dare you have a man hitting a woman and all that stuff. I'm sorry, but she deserves it. She deserves to have somebody slap her across her freaking face. Because she is a little... Obviously, I'm very frustrated with her character, but that scene in particular just really, really irked me. Like, I already didn't like her character, and then she has the audacity to go and do that and treat Bull like he's the piece of crap, when clearly she is the piece of crap in all of this. So anyway, we learn also another part of her story. They try to make her, I guess, have a redeemable story by saying that the firm that she works for is kind of forcing her into this and giving her, I guess, a way out of this really, I guess, dirty firm. And their way out is she wins this case, they have the papers, and they sign, and then she's out of the company. She can start her own thing, she can be out of this dirty firm, whatever. So they try to give her some sort of like redeeming reason of, oh, this is why she's doing it, guys. She's not just doing it because she's a piece of crap. No, they're just people who are more pieces of crap, and they're threatening her to do this, kind of. So, I don't know. It just felt like a cheap way to say, oh, this is why she's allowed to act like a bitch. So, yeah, all of that with her was just really annoying. Some of the more redeeming elements of this episode, though. First of all, like I said before, the twist where the son was the one that made the call to the DEA, I thought that was a great twist. Because they came in, and you could tell from the opening scene, like, they knew immediately where to go for the drugs. And I was wondering if maybe they were just going to do this thing where it's like, oh, we searched the premises, and we just happened to find drugs. I'm like, no, you clearly went specifically under the porch and knew where to find those drugs. So somebody must have called in, right? Sure enough, they find out that there was a tip called in. They analyze the tape, they listen to it, and it's some sort of like voice changer on it. And they find out that it's the son based on, the voice analysis that they have. And I just think that's a brilliant little twist to throw in there. Because you do kind of wonder, okay, was it like, did the people plant the drugs there, the rival drug gang, did they plant them there and then call in the tip? And so to find out that the father, the brother actually stole the drugs, planted or put them under the porch, and then the son, seeing that, called it into the DEA because he didn't want to have anything to do with this. He was tired of his mom being hurt because of this. So he calls it in. I just thought that was a brilliant little way to sort of bring it full circle and to give her a reason to turn on her brother and turn him in as well. So, I don't know. I really like that twist. And on top of that, I like how they handled the case in general. I mean, first starting off with having an anonymous jury. Got tripped over my words there. Having an anonymous jury is very interesting because we get to see less of the reading of people's faces. Now we get to handle the voice analysis of reading a jury, because people can look certain ways, they can have certain facial movements, but there are some times where you have to listen to the voice inflections, you have to listen to how they sound. And so, I don't know, I just really like getting to see that side of it. See him, okay, he's listening to the voices, he can tell based on how that guy sounds that he's a bit heavier set. He can tell that, okay, he has kind of a gruff sounding voice, so probably because of this. I don't know, I like how they handled the jury in this episode. On top of that, I really like how they handled ending the case. We knew that there was some sort of plan in place. There was going to be a little bit of play acting to finish up the case, so that way the defense thinks, oh, we've won the case, and so that way the woman looks like she's getting off without actually turning her brother in, only to find out later that, she actually did turn him in, which I find kind of weird that they decided to arrest him right after the case ended. You'd think that he'd be able to figure it out that she ratted on him. I just thought that maybe they'd wait a little bit and then go get him, just so he can't really connect the dots, and they could say, oh, we found some other piece of information that tied you to the case. But I really love seeing just how they managed to turn it around. There was a notary that wasn't signed for one of the pieces of evidence, and so of course they draw their attention to that, and the DA was just perfect for that scene. And obviously, it's an actor acting in a part, so it would be one thing if this were real life and to watch a real life person do it, but just something about the way he handled it was just perfect. He was like, what, are you serious? Like, we're gonna have our entire case thrown out because somebody didn't sign a piece of paper? He acted perfectly enough, but also threw in just enough to make it to where the defense could use that and say, hey, they just said without that piece of paper they have no case, so I guess that's it. So I don't know, the way they wrote that, the way they handled that final scene was very well done. And of course it wasn't without some questions like, wait, how did that just happen again? So I really like how they handled the case, but everything to do with JP was just so frustrating. And honestly, she has been the most frustrating part about this season, because looking at this season overall, final thoughts on the season, it really was a pretty good first season. I wouldn't say it's anything special. I don't think the show has got the legs to last like several seasons. It'll probably last a couple seasons, and then, as the ratings probably drop, they were already pretty low based on what I've seen on IMDb. Most of them are like 6.0 or lower, which I find very shocking considering like Supergirl is mostly 7.5 and higher. But, it's all based on opinion, and most people would rather see a superhero show that's all about like soap opera drama than a clever show about trial science for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, this first season was pretty good. Has a lot of good elements to it. I like the team for the most part. I would like to see maybe some more backstory on them in season 2. Maybe have a couple cases. We did get a couple of them, like Benny got some backstory in one of his cases. Chunk got a bit of backstory for him as well. Cable, not really much of a backstory. She just kind of had some personal life stuff going on that we got to deal with. Danny, I think, had one case where we really dived deep into her backstory. But I want to see them grow a bit more and have, I guess, more effect on an episode. Like, what did Danny do this case? Oh, she went and questioned one guy. What did Benny do this case? He went with her to question the guy. What did Chunk do? Nothing. What did Cable do? She looked up a couple things. I want them to have more effect on the episodes. I want to see more what they're bringing every episode. And they did that pretty well for the first half of the season. But as the second half started, we got introduced to other people. We're finding out more about these other people that are playing in every now and then. The people that were involved, the different defense attorneys they've worked with, the prosecuting attorneys that they've had to deal with. Now JP, for the last few episodes, really dealing with her a lot. They just kind of took a back seat in the last few episodes, and I want to see more about them. They are a fairly interesting team. They work well together. I think they have some really funny lines. Some of the dialogue between them can be really funny. And on top of that, I want to see Bull interacting with each of them. I don't want to see him just, oh, I'm just going to talk to Marissa and JP and then that's it. I want to see him being a leader and kind of helping his team grow and become better at what they do. Because we've seen a couple episodes like that. The one with Danny, in my opinion, was perfect. Like, that really showed that he can be a really good leader. Um, so, yeah, that's about it for my thoughts on the season as a whole. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do in season 2. Hopefully they can bring some new ideas. Hopefully they can bring in some more, I guess, interesting characters, aside from just like the team and Bull, because I can remember a couple throughout the season. I remember the lawyer from his hometown. I remember the lawyer that used to be like really skitsy from the first episode, and then she became like a really good lawyer. Um, but I want them to introduce some more characters, bring us some really interesting stories as well, and obviously continue to change up the trial science every single episode. Have a different trial. Have, in my opinion, the best thing they could do for next season as like a mid-season finale or even a season finale, really, is just have one episode where it's like the person they're defending is guilty or the person they're trying to convict is innocent or something like that. Something where their morals get tested and they have to do their job, but it conflicts with the morals that they have. And so should they do? Should they continue to do it? I don't know. I find it very interesting to think about that fact. And I think just a really, I don't know, just a quick idea for me. If they have a client who is guilty and they're trying to prove him innocent, maybe ultimately they prove him innocent, but they find another crime that they're guilty of, and so they manage to get them arrested for that or something along those lines. I don't know. I think it's an interesting concept of defending an innocent client versus defending a guilty client. It's just so much different. So that's about it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts in this episode, and what were your thoughts on the season in general? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future bowl reviews. I'll see you guys in the next season. Peace out.